I don't think we would be where we are today if it hadn't been for Durward's vision.
He's just an unbelievable person. He's people first, no ego. He's really about team. I think I've heard him say several times the reason he loved fraternity, and I plagiarize his quote a lot, the reason he loves fraternity so much is it's a team sport.
I always think of Durward with his accent and very, Southern, and just the consummate gentleman and eager to meet people and learn about people and invest in people, and, great personal skills, conversational skills. He would always, make time to ask people about, themselves and what was going on in their life. And he was just a very giving person from that respect.
When you work for fraternity, it's much more like family. Durward and his wife Connie lived just a few blocks away from us, so we were at their house all the time. He takes a much more personal interest in your personal life than a typical boss would at just a company. So because of that, I think you establish a relationship with him when you start working, and then even after you leave, that's not a relationship that you're going to break. He's family.
Durward and Connie were a power couple. They were extraordinary in the support of one another. What Durward was able to do in terms of being a teacher and a leader in Pi Kappa Phi could only have happened with the foundation that was Connie.
The first time you're in their presence, you are family. From the day you meet them, you feel like you've known them your whole life. They are always warm and welcoming and loving.
Well, Connie was the true mother of the fraternity. She really was. Durward had the Connie test, before he would hire someone. He wanted Connie's approval if they would have a chance to meet them, and she had to give them the thumbs up on it. Just a gentle, genteel Southern lady, kind, calm. They were the perfect pairing of the two of them, because she was just a great partner, life mate in Durward's, career mission, which was running Pi Kappa Phi.
Durward always had his way, and he was always acting tough in front of Connie, but she would give him a little look and he would straighten right up.
The word visionary means that when you see that there's a problem or you see that there's a need, you go fix it. One of his sayings was, don't bring a problem without a solution. And it's very true. I mean, if you see that there's something wrong, well, then try to figure it out before you go complain about it. No sense just complaining. Do something to fix it. And Durward was certainly a fixer.
Yeah, Durward could entertain ideas, and he liked doing that, especially over breakfast. You could have a new idea and float that out to Durward, and he would perk up. But then he had the organizational, political, and financial skills to fashion those ideas, if they survived, into the reality of an organization of thousands of people. I mean, that's a breadth of skill, starting with the ability to imagine something that's not there, and that some people call that being visionary.
He was a visionary. I mean, you go back to his first meetings with Thomas Sayer and starting what was then called PUSH, which later became Push America and then became the Ability Experience. I've always taken a great deal of pride in the fact that our fraternity is the only fraternity that has its own captive philanthropy in the Ability Experience. And, Durward gets 100% credit for that, being the visionary and working with Thomas Sayer to make that happen.
The impact that Durward made interfraternally and nationally was even bigger than what he ever did to Pi Kappa Phi. The various associations are kind of our national presence. I mean, he really is one of the handful of people that changed the entire trajectory of national fraternity.
He really believed a rising tide lifts all boats. Durward helped a lot of universities that didn't have Greek systems. They would bring Durward in to say, help us design our Greek system. Let's do it right from the start.
Well, I've always thought of Durward as our fourth founder of the fraternity. He really
took it to the next level or several levels above that, initiated an organization that was built to last versus one that could have gone either way. So I think he really, built the model that we have today, which is highly successful and has been continued by, his successors.
My relationship with Durward has been one of the more meaningful relationships in my life. I would say that he has continued to be a mentor, continue to be a leader, and someone that I always consider my boss.
The expectations that Durward had of you when he hired you, made you want to operate at the very highest levels, the most efficient levels, the most, representational. And I think that, what he expected of us is what ultimately helped me personally.
I'm very indebted to Durward, and I do view him as a mentor and a leader and just a model for, how I've wanted to live my life. And, giving back has been an incredibly important theme for me in my life. And a lot of that just comes from the generosity and the interest that Durward showed in me very early, which shaped me in my life.
I've learned from Durward to see beyond the clothes, and realize that I could be deeply connected to people that on face value I would think maybe not. We hang with our own tribe, and Durward had many tribes, and I think he taught me that I can operate in many tribes and benefit from that, and have brotherly connections with people of all walks.
He believes in service, and service is so critical, and it's part of what we want every single member to experience, right? And Durward especially, he didn't want you to just, you're going to raise some money, you're going to donate it. No, you need to experience it. So we, unlike other organizations, we want our members to get involved with the community that we support, which is, folks with severe disabilities.
That's really the key, is his knack and his innate ability to make connections. It's been pretty phenomenal, and maintain them, which takes a lot of effort. Sometimes I think he's very complex, and then sometimes I think he's very simple. Like I said, I think he's a bit of an enigma, and he's just helped a lot of people. He's made connections. I think life is all about relationships, and I think that's probably something that I've learned not just from him, but partly from him and from my mom.
I guess at first, as an undergraduate, when I met him, I was in awe of the image of Durward Owen, the fellow who runs the fraternity. Certainly over the years, it's become mentor, friend, a ski buddy, just one of the kindest and most sincerest human beings I've ever had the pleasure of knowing, and he's been a great influence on my life.
He's an icon in Pi Kappa Phi. People, when they talk about Pi Kappa Phi, they think of Durward Owen, and I think he's left his mark in terms of the way the fraternity is so focused on leadership development, servant leadership among our student members, and developing them into lifelong leaders.
He made us all a better person. He made us think about more than ourselves, made us realize that it's important to help support the next generation.
When I think of Durward Owen, there's not just one image in my mind, because he is so many things to so many people. Certainly a visionary for Pi Kappa Phi, and saw the potential that the organizations could be for us, giving us the building blocks to become even more successful, establishing our reputation nationally. We like to use the quote, I stand on the shoulder of giants type of thing. By Isaac Newton, and certainly I stood on Durward's giant shoulders, and mine aren't as big as Durward's.
The world could use a lot more Durwards in it. I think the world would be a much better place if we had leaders like Durward, people who had empathy, who did it for the right reasons, took leadership roles for the right reasons, were big thinkers. We're strategic thinkers.
Durward, we love you, and you have made an impact on the fraternity that's going to transcend every generation, not just the generation of your generation, but every generation moving forward for as long as these three letters stand. I think as long as there's a Pi Kappa Phi, and as long as there's this concept of fraternity at four-year institutions, people always remember you, and people always appreciate your impact.